I have a really cool way to mix bass house that's easy and loads of fun. And I guarantee by the end of this video, you're going to be able to smash it right with your bass house mixing. You could even go to a party and people are going to be blown away by your skills. So here's the thing. If you want to mix professionally, right, or you want to, when you play, you want everything to line up, I guess the first question you got to ask is, are you setting cue points or not? Or basically, if you're not using cues, are you taking guesses by looking at the waveforms? For instance, you think like it's going to drop off and maybe you hit play where you're bringing it in. Now, I'll be honest, right? You can actually take guesses at the waveforms and you can mix without cue points, and it can be a lot of fun. So what a lot of people do is they actually, the chorus starts like the drop and they hit play there, and then they're kind of mixing in over the end of the chorus and they're hoping that the chorus drops off and their new song lines up. And to be honest, that can work that way if your intro is the same length as your chorus. But to be honest, that's not always the case. And what happens then if your chorus is actually longer than your intro and you come in on the first beat of the chorus? Your verse is going to kick in the middle of the chorus, and trust me, it's not always great. And say you want to replace the drop even, right? Like with cues, I can actually go find the drop, put a cue point a couple of phrases earlier, and I can make sure that everything lines up. So what I mean by replacing the drop is instead of going to the drop of one song, going to the drop of another. And that's really, really, really popular with this kind of music. So with cue points, you can make sure everything lines up, and that's how I assure, that's how you get there, you know what I mean? But without cues, yes, if you're playing for yourself at home, it can be a lot of fun. If it doesn't always go the way you like, well, you get better at hiding it, I'm sure. But, and if you're not playing to yourself, what's it matter? But if you are playing in a club, trust me, getting creative control over your songs is actually like really, really suggested, and I would suggest setting cues in advance. So what I'll do is let's start with this is sort of similar to the EDM video I did, because this mixing bass house is a little bit similar in the parts that maybe I will come into the break, and for this video anyway, and replace the drop, right? So that's a very common way to mix this. So let's say I want to mix in, first of all, mix in the verse after the chorus, okay? I would probably go find, the first beat of the verse in Rekordbox, right? Or whatever software you're using. Like make sure it's a one beat, and then I'd probably put a cue point 8 bars earlier to give myself some time to mix in. Because here's the thing, if you're hitting play where you want to bring in your song, it means you're hitting play, you're doing your beat matching, you're doing the volume, you're doing the EQ all at once. Personally, I would suggest giving yourself some time to beat match, so when you bring in the volume, your songs are already in sync. And this is going to really, really prepare you to play in clubs, because when you turn up to play in clubs, they probably don't have sync, you can't stack waveforms. You do want some time to be able to beat match before bringing in the volume, trust me. So what I'd do is I'd find the bit I want to play. In this case, say the first beat of the verse, go put a cue point 8 bars earlier to give myself some time to mix in. But then the question is, where do you mix in? So for my exiting song, just go find where the choruses end and then put a cue point 8 bars earlier, kind of like as a mix in point. Now, if I've got 8 bars to mix in my new song and that's 8 bars out from the end of the chorus, if I come in at that mix out point, the chorus drops off and my new song comes in at the right time. So let's start with that, and then we're going to do some drops. So keep watching, man, because then by the end, we're going to be doing both. And that is, replacing the drop, coming into the break, and I'll show you how to prepare that. So if you follow the instructions, you could grab 10 songs, set those cues like that, and you could be mixing really, really like pro level, realistically, pretty much within 10 minutes, just as long as you do the prep. So, okay, so here I go, gone and done it. And in this case, I'm going to mix out of this song into my new one, found where the chorus is finished, and I've put a cue point 8 bars earlier before the end of the chorus. Again, I've got a video on where to set cues exactly, and I'll show you how I go through the DJ software, so check that out, and I'll link that in below. So, okay, so let's give it a go. So I'm playing, and I go over here, load my song. I've got my cue here, 8 bars before my verse. Okay. So here's my point. I'm going to hit play and beat match. Now I beat match in my headphones. Okay. Once I get my songs in sync, I'm going to come in after the chorus, but there's no bass there. So I might just take up my highs, soften my transition. 8, 2, 3, go. And there's my new song. And I get this one out before it kicks in. And I'll be honest, right, that is fairly easy, right? And it actually sounds great. Like, it's actually easy and effective. Like, sure, we can go do more advanced stuff, but this video is just designed to kind of get you started and, you know, and show you what kind of the pros are doing. Coming in after the chorus into that break is really, really common. So I'll do it again. I'll go grab another song. So I grab the next song. I've got a cue, 8 bars before the verse. Over here, I've got a mix out cue, 8 bars before the end of the chorus. That just makes sure that everything lines up. So I might just fast forward now. Cool. Okay, I see my mix out cues approaching. Okay. Okay. I'll take out my highs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could roll out the personality if I wanted. Beautiful. And now this one comes in. So yeah, you're right. If that one starts kicking in and doing something you don't like, you could just dial back the personality of the song. That's just a great way to not panic, right? See, what a lot of people do is they hear it, the song comes back in, they're like, oh, well, and they take out the volume, but the volume takes everything out and can sound like you're panicking. Let's say it starts to kick back in. I personally like hitting the mids to kind of roll out. Now, I've got a full video in my course about fully using the EQ, and I break it all down completely, because using the EQ like in its entirety is the best way to actually mix, but not just having a technique like I'll do this. It's more like listening to what the song's doing. So in this case, I've come in after the chorus, this song's actually gone into something kind of straight away, and I'm like, oh, and maybe I could just roll out here with the mids. It just kind of like blends it right back. It's a really great way to do it. Okay, so that's coming in after the chorus, and we'll do a couple more, but right now I want to show you how to replace the drop, which is another way to mix this music that's really popular. And that is, right, instead of going to the chorus of one song, go to the chorus of another. Now, with cue points, it's pretty basic. So what I've done is I've gone and found, I guess here, let's say I go find the drop. I've done this in the software, but I go find the drop, bang, right? And then I've gone and put a cue point 16 bars earlier. And that means if I go over here to my next song, and also find the drop and put a cue point 16 bars earlier. And that means I come in at this point 16 bars out. That means they're both equal distance to the drop. Then all of a sudden, instead of going to the drop of this song, I go to the drop of my new song. And it's really, really exciting. So, and it's a popular way to mix. So what we'll do is, let's do that now. So I've got here, I go back, I see my cue, 16 bars before the drop coming up. Okay, B match. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in underneath. Okay, I'm using the EQ to come in underneath, and there's usually a lot of highs in the drop. Okay, and then that comes in. Let's do another drop. Okay, so I go here. Find a song I like. Okay. And now I've got my cue, 16 bars before the drop. I've got one over here too, 16 bars before the drop. Just fast forward to that. Okay. Okay. Coming into the build up. Beautiful, and that comes in. Now what I'd do is I would actually go in and set your cues like that. I'd find the verse, go back 8 bars, find the drop, go back 16 bars, and just actually practice mixing like that. And then for your mix out cues, well, for the drops, again, 16 bars before the drop. And if you're coming in after the chorus, just find where the chorus ends and also goes back 8. So here we go. So I'm going to mix into the verse now, starting to put the two together. Okay. singing up the chorus. There's no bass there, so I might just take up the high. 8, 2, 3, 4. This one's recorded a little softer. Okay, so if it's recorded softer ever, you bring it in the waveform's just a lot smaller than this one. It's just recorded softer. You can just pump it up a bit with your trims. Okay, and that's what the trims are for, really. If ever your songs, like if all your songs are recorded at the same level, you know, have them straight up. But if ever you bring a song in and you're like, wow, that's a little bit quieter, you can actually get a little, like I've got my volume up here, I can get a little bit more from a trim. So okay, let's do another drop now. So I've got here 16 bars from the drop. Might just fast forward to the next drop for now, because I missed that one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. And now I start the beat match and I come in on the build. Okay, that's cool. Now I'll go straight into the break. So I'm keeping the energy moving. Remember to bring the trim back down. Okay, and that song's come in. So I could go all day, to be honest. Okay, so that there, very common way to mix this kind of genre, and that can be a lot of fun. You just need to go do your prep. So what I've done again is I've been replacing the drop with the drop of another song, and then coming in after the chorus into the break with my new song. So anyway, if this is moving a little bit quick for you, this video is assuming that you've got your foundations down as a DJ. And what I mean by your foundations is you know how the gear works, you know the mixing process, you know how to phrase your songs, you know how to find songs that go well together, you know how to control how the songs sit together using the EQ. Now, if you don't know all that stuff, right, and there's so much more too, 100% you should check out my Club Ready DJ course and check out the testimonials and the reviews and stuff. Like, I've taken a lot of people and made them very, very confident DJs, and a lot of my DJs, like all around the world, are actually doing very, very well. So hopefully you'll be a part of that. Check that out. But if not, keep watching the free stuff, and yeah, pleasure working with you.